The best movies released in March of 2025. Yeah, I look like I just run through Ayo Debris' closet. That's because I'm here for my monthly cinephile video. That does not mean I like movies made for kids. That means I like movies in general and have a Letterboxd account. I love movies. I see so many. This month, shit. One movie! That's gonna be easy. So I guess the best and technically worst movie I saw this month was Mickey 17. Unlikely hero Mickey Barnes finds himself in the extraordinary circumstance of working for an employee who demands the ultimate commitment to the job: to die for a living. Thanks, Letterboxd. As a lot of you guys already know and are probably very happy to find out, you get 2 Robert Pattinsons in this film for the price of 1. Is it too much to ask that I found it out during the film? It kind of feels like a reveal that would have happened during the film, but no, it's something that was plastered across all of the marketing, which I get. I'm not denying 2 Robert Pattinsons didn't help sell this film, but like, I was watching the movie and as it was leading up to it and I knew it was about to happen, I kind of felt like this should have been a reveal, which it kind of wasn't. So that was a little bit disappointing. But the movie's got a great aesthetic. I want to pivot to some positives before we get to some negatives. I think it's got a great concept and premise at its base, and I think all the actors are doing a tremendous job. I think they're all being very charismatic on screen, doing their thing. It's got a very particular kind of comedy style, which I think a lot of people are liking. Like, I've been seeing other people's reviews, other people's takes on it, and they seem to enjoy it quite a bit. For me, watching the film, I kind of got the vibe that the film thought it was funnier than it was, and therefore felt justified to pivot to that humor all the time instead of going down the more interesting route. Like, the film has some pretty interesting questions, some sort of philosophical ideas that we didn't quite get to go down. I can pretty profound. Like, the film will kind of ask you a sort of difficult, interesting question about its concept, and just as you try and think of your answer, the film's ADHD brain pivots onto what is kind of so random XDQ.
Oh my god, like, can we talk about like the political and economic state of the world right now?
I think the closest they got to something interesting outside of just the surface level of their premise was when they were sitting on the bed. It was Mickey and the female character whose girlfriend just died. She's asking Mickey what it's like to die, which is kind of like a running joke and question posed towards Mickey throughout the film. But she's like asking it because her girlfriend just died, and she kind of wants to know what her final moments were like from a guy who's done it like 16 odd times. I thought it was going to go a little bit more into it. It'd maybe come to a conclusion where Mickey feels like he's kind of never died, because he technically kind of never has, because dying is dying because you're done. Mickey doesn't really truly know that, because every single time Mickey has died, he's died knowing that he will be brought back to life. In her final fleeting moment, she would have experienced the fear of finality. Depending on her religion, I don't know what she believes in, but you know, you get the general point. Also, there being 2 Mickeys had like no tension. Like, they kind of build up to it decently well. We kind of get a backstory into why multiples are banned, and then once there is 2 of them, it's found out by everyone almost immediately, and then the film kind of then just sort of peters out, and it's not even really the main issue of the film anymore. The film turns into this alien movie, which I believe to be the subplot of this film, which is what the whole movie kind of became about, which is a little disappointing. I didn't really care for any of that, and that's the entire last hour. That's just kind of an issue for me in terms of the pacing as a whole. I felt like the pacing was this sort of stuttered rev, like a car on a cold morning, and just as you think it's gonna get the engine to turn over, it never did, and it just teases you and teases you, and it keeps building up to nothing and building up to nothing, and I don't know. Also, why was Mickey 18 so different from Mickey 17? I know that Mickey sort of alludes to the fact that some of his versions have been a little bit more needy than others and this and that, but like, this one is so different. Is there a reason for that? Is it because he was printed out whilst one was still alive? Like, is there any kind of in-story reason, or is it just because convenience? There's 2 on screen, they need to be very different from each other, one needs to learn something from the other type thing. I don't know, it's not that it even really matters, but the fact that I'm asking these questions shows that the movie never really cared to go down those avenues. That was never really a priority of the film, which is completely fine if the film worked for me more as a comedy. None of this would even matter to me, but the fact that it didn't means I was kind of searching for things in other places. And you know what, I'm gonna say it, I wish Mickey died more. Yeah, sure, he died like 16, 17 times, and the book is Mickey 7, so you're already upped it, but I kind of just feel like I wanted to see more dead Robert Pattinsons. Call me crazy. Goblet of Fire didn't do enough for me, clearly. To be fair, I think most of my problems with the film is sort of plot points and story beats. They're just straight adaptations from the book, so it's probably more issues I'd have with the book if I ever did read it, which I probably wouldn't. I've only ever read Die for a Wimpy Kid. But like I said, the acting performances are so fun, and the aesthetic is quite cool, and the concept and premise as a whole is so cool that it kind of does carry a lot of the film for me, meaning I did still enjoy it. It's just that it left a lot to be desired, and ultimately I felt like it was untapped potential. I hate that. But yeah, in a weird way, I am happy I saw nothing better this month, because I wouldn't have been able to talk about Mickey 17. On screen is my Letterboxd score and review for Michael 17. But yeah, here's to seeing more films, hopefully in April.
You better be here when I do.